Hello everyone, I am Mr. Sunil Kumar, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, AJ Institute of Engineering and Technology, Mangalore. Dear students, I am teaching you the course of the Material Testing Laboratory. In the last class, I have explained about impact testing. So, material testing is all about to test the properties of materials which we are daily using in engineering applications. So here we are testing the number of properties of materials which are required for the stabilization of the materials in real-time applications, and also we have to know about their failures. To know the failure of any structure or failure of materials in their real-time application, we have to know the properties of the material. So in this class we shall learn about direct shear stress. Direct shear stress. What do you mean by shear? Shear means breaking of any specimen or any structure when counted with respect to its axis. A perfect shear or a pure shear means if any specimen breaks exactly perpendicular to the axis, then it is called as shear failure. Shear failure. Let me consider an example of a nut and bolt here as it is shown. So this is the axis, whatever I am showing is the axis of the structure, axis of this component in this direction, in y direction. Now suppose this is fitted to two components to join them together. The component, one component is A, the other component is B. And suppose if I apply load in the direction transverse to the axial direction, this is the axis. If I apply load in the transverse direction to the axis, that is perpendicular to the axis, if I apply the load perpendicular to the axis, what happens? This nut will break into two pieces. This nut will break into two pieces. That piece is shown here. That breakage is perpendicular to axis. That breakage is perpendicular to axis. This will be called pure shear when load is acting perpendicular to axis and breakage is also exactly perpendicular to axis, then it is called pure shear. There are two types of shear test you will be studying in this lab. One is single shear, other one is double shear. So suppose this bolt is broken into two pieces. So two halves. One, it is broken into two parts. If it is broken into two parts, then it is called a single shear. The next one is double shear. Double shear means if you observe this in one of the bolts here, this is the axis and load is applied like this. There are three sections, C, D, A and B are the other different components. Now load is applied here. These are the fixed components. Load is applied to A and B. What happens? This particular bolt will break into three pieces. You can see here one load will be applied like this, the other force will be applied like this, one force will be applied like this. So if that is the case, this particular bolt will be broken into three pieces, then it is called double shear. Then it is called double shear. How this shear test is done? Once again, the material taken is the mild steel. It is done with the help of Universal Testing Machine UTM. Once again, what is the procedure? We have to note down the diameter of the specimen. The first step is to note down the diameter of the specimen. Place the specimen in shear shackle. There will be shear shackle equipment given provided to you, which is explained in conduction video. One support for single shear and two supports for double shear. Then place the cycle in the compression testing machine, that is UTM. Note down the failure, that is failure load we have to note down. Then we have to calculate the ultimate strength in shear, both in case of double and single shears. Here we can see the diameter of the specimen is noted like this. Area of cross section would be like this after the with respect to the diameter. Failure load for single shear is 59.5 kilonewton. So failure stress will be, or strength will be, Newton per millimeter square. Stress is called strength when it is the maximum limited value. Okay. So safe shear stress, what is safe shear stress? Wherever factor of safety is applied. Suppose if I apply factor of safety of 3 to use it safely, then this is the value of safe shear. If I apply factor of safety of 2, then we have to divide this value by 2. Here 3 is taken as factor of safety, that is why divide this value by 3, then you will get safe shear stress. So similar calculation for double shear. Hope you have understood. Thank you.
Conduct is on the direct shear test on my steel. So when you go for a direct shear test on, what do you mean by shear test? So shear test is if you got a material, yes or not? If I cut the material, what will happen? It is the slicing of the material. So shear stress is also again the slicing of the material. What will happen? One part will be fixed, another part will be movable. So what will happen when it moves, when the pressure applies takes place? What will happen due to that slicing of the material takes place? It is called as shear stress. When you go for shear of the material, there are two types of shear of material. One is single shear and double shear. So if I have a material like this, if I have a this on plate like this and apply the load, this moves downwards, the slicing takes place at only one point, then it is called as a single shear. So if I go for both the templates, one is the die and the two templates, what will happen? The slicing, this will move downwards due to what? Slicing takes place at this point as well as this point. That's why it is called as a double shear. In shear experiment, we are going to find out what is the ultimate strength of the material when the slicing of the material takes place. Whatever attachment you are having is this is the shear attachment. The maximum load you can apply is the 1100 kilonewton, and that is the maximum they are giving you. Actually maximum capacity will be nearly up to 150 kilonewton, but you can for the safety reasons they provide you the 75% of that. That's why they given the 1000 kilonewton. So this is you got as a normal setup, and you got a die. So you got a die template and you got a this one. So depending on your size, it varies. If the size is 12 mm, then whatever the plate you are applying, it should be of 12 mm. So whatever the die, depending on your die, depending on the die of the material, you have got a different dies. If you are using the 12, the die of the material should be 12 mm. Then only it can insert in the die. So can you observe here it is 12 mm? Yes. Simultaneously you can observe the other templates 12 mm, 12 mm. If you are going for double shear, you have to use two sides. If you are going for single, you have to use only one. This. First, insert this part, slowly rotate, and it should be freely moving. Next, you can place the shear attachment like this. Simultaneously, you can place it like this. What will happen if I place it like this? When I insert the die, so I am applying the load here. What will happen? Since this part is touching the ground surface, what will happen? When I apply the load, damage to the template takes place rather than the shearing of the material. So this procedure, whatever I am following, it is the wrong procedure. That's why always when you keep it, it should be kept in such a way that it should be always placed like this, and the 10,000 kg force should be visible. So that what will happen when I place it here? You can see this is the center part. Exact circle it is taking here. So you can observe here there is a gap. So due to this gap, what will happen when the load is applied? It breaks and it falls down. The damage to the template does not take place. So this safety precautions you have to keep in your mind when you go for the single shear as well as the double shear. The first will be going for the single shear. Pull this up, rotate this, place this. Simultaneously you can see the template here. So this setup what I have done is the single shear setup. So you can observe here there is only one template, and the template is inside the die template and the one is not placed. So when you place in such a way that you can always make sure that any material should not come out of this part. What will happen if the material comes out of this part? When the breakage takes place, the material touches the die plate. Due to the damage to the die plate takes place, template takes place. That's why always make sure when you go for single shear, this inner side part should be level, so that any extension, if you keep it this way. Next, place the template on the UTM. So next we'll be going for conduction of the UTM. As previously told in the compression as well as in the tensile, UTM, every machine has got a self-acting load. So in this UTM, you have got a hydraulic mechanism at the bottom. So the equipment has got a certain weight. So that weight will be acting always, since due to the gravitational force, always downwards. So that downward force we call as a dead load. So what will happen if that load is acting? Whatever the load you are applying, so what will happen? It will be nulling. So when the actual load is 1 kg, it may show you 14 kg. Then whatever the experiment you are conducting, it will not be proper. That's why you have to nullify the dead load. So how to nullify the dead load? It is by applying the positive load to the negative load. If the negative load you have got is 14, if you apply the 14 kilonewton of the positive load, the dead load gets nullified. So how to do the dead load settings? First, keep both the valve closed. First, open the left control valve. So whatever the hydraulic mechanism load is applied, it should be released. Then close the left control valve. Switch on the hydraulic mechanism. Open the right control valve. So what will happen when you open the right control valve? The load is acting. There is no displacement. So what does that indicate? The negative load was there of 14.15. Then the displacement has started. Once the negative load is nullified, then only the whatever the mechanism it is taking, it is the whole load it is on. Since we have not applied any material kept in between, due to that the load is not applying, displacement goes on increasing. So when the displacement starts to increase, that is whatever the dead load you are taking, it is nullified. Once that is done, switch off the power, go for the reset settings. Next, you applying the cross side power switch, bring the near to the setup, touching the setup, then give the tear. Once I finish the tear, next we go for conduction. When we go for conduction of the left control valve should be always closed. Next, switch on the hydraulic mechanism, go for the start stop switch. If you don't switch on the start stop switch, whatever the circuit mechanism will not go, automatic stop and all will not take place. So always remember, when you press the start stop button, you will get this light on. It indicates that is controlled by the safety mechanism. Next, switch on open the right control valve. So when you open the right control valve, the load starts acting. So you have to note down what is the ultimate load to take the shear press. You can observe that the load is going on. At one point, the slicing takes place, it will fall down. You can observe here, it is touching. Next, you can observe here, the load is going on. So now you can observe here, when the slicing has taken place, the material has gone down. Since there is a clearance, damage to the template has not taken place. That's why always this is a exact position how you are going to. So next part we will be going for the double shear. So what is the difference between single shear and double shear? You can observe here in the single shear, this part was restricted to here and it was extended up to this extent. Whereas in double shear, you can observe this should come out and this should so you can observe here the part comes throughout the whole distance. If it is restricted only to this extent, then it is a single shear. If it passes to the whole extent, then it is called as a double shear. So what will happen here? The strength should be actually double the previous strength. Since the diameter what taken is 12 mm only, previously we have got it for 46. Now it should go around 80, somewhat 80 about. The same procedure you have to follow. Place it on the compression pad. Next, switch on the hydraulic, remove the dead load, reset, keep the hydraulic on, off, bring the lower class side down, leave sufficient gap, switch on the hydraulic, apply the load, you can observe that the part center cross head is touching this one, give the tear, then go for start, it should be highlighted. Next, switch on the hydraulic, release the right control. You can observe it has crossed 60. Previously it was something around 46 in a single step.